And joining us now to discuss is defense attorney Misty Marris. And Misty, great to have you on. We're watching these live pictures as this trial continues today, and it's coming to a close on this day. What has stood out to you?
Well, the opening statements were certainly very compelling on both sides, but there was something in the defense opening statement, and we can expect to hear this same theme throughout the trial. So prosecutors said, every actor is supposed to treat a gun, whether it's a prop gun, whether or not they're an actor, they should pretend that it is a loaded gun. And therefore, Alec Baldwin acted recklessly because he was holding that gun and pointing it at people, putting his finger on the trigger, recklessly using it as a pointer. That's the prosecution's argument. But the defense said, none of that really matters because a live bullet was found on that set and that never should have happened. Alec Baldwin could never have known that that would be the case. It was incomprehensible. Something else we heard in the opening statement. We know Alec Baldwin made a very public early on interview. He said, I never pulled the trigger. Well, the defense walking back a bit on that, saying it doesn't matter whether or not he pulled the trigger because that live bullet never could have been foreseen. So these are themes we're going to see from the defense throughout the course of the trial.
And Misty, there was sort of a win for the defense even before the trial started when the judge ruled that Baldwin's role as a producer on the movie was not going to be considered during the trial. Why do you think the judge came to that conclusion, and how does it shape the proceedings moving forward?
Absolutely a huge win for the defense. So for the entirety of this case, the prosecutors had two theories. One, Alec Baldwin as the actor. That's what we heard about in the opening statements, how he mishandled the gun and shirked his safety responsibilities. That's now the argument that's going to be raised in this trial. The alternate argument that the judge will not allow in is Alec Baldwin as producer. The argument was that since he was a producer on the set, he was actually responsible for all of the safety failures, including hiring an armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, who was not qualified for the job. All those arguments have been thrown out, including testimony and video footage showing Alec Baldwin rushing through scenes, rushing to keep production on track. So now that none of that's in the case, this was so critical for the defense because it really narrowed what evidence prosecutors are going to be able to show. And since he's not responsible for the safety on the set overall, that the prosecutors really lost an argument about how to establish recklessness. Now it's just relating to Alec Baldwin's handling of the gun. The reason the judge came to that conclusion, she said how he could have been the actor and then also responsible for all of those safety failures when there's these contractual responsibilities, that it simply didn't make sense and was too prejudicial. So that was a big win for the defense.
All right, Misty Marris, more to come on this. Thanks so much for your analysis there.